All right, we're going to take a little break here. When we get back, we're going to talk to Ted Florence. He's the president of Avenza Systems. It's a Canadian mapping company. Most of you probably aren't familiar, but you will be when we're done. 8:22 on Sports Talk 790, the Doug Pike Show. Thanks for listening. As always, on a cloudy and relatively cool morning. I don't know if he's actually where. We're going to talk to Ted Florence here, president of Avenza Systems up in. Are you in Canada this morning, Ted?
Yes, I am.
How cold?
I'm in Toronto.
So
beautiful and sunny Toronto.
Oh, I actually have a client who is based in Toronto. So how cold is it up there this morning?
Oh, I don't know exactly, and I don't know in American degrees, but
no, we'll take Celsius. We can handle that.
Yeah, it's Celsius. It's probably about 25 Celsius.
Okay, well, that's comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Yeah. We finally cooled off a little bit. We have been in Fahrenheit at 198, 99, 35, 34. I don't know, something like that in Celsius. It's way up there. It's just been brutal down here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot further. Hey, thank you for visiting with us this morning. I want to talk about this app of yours, this Avenza app, and what it does. I guess in celebration of the end almost of our National Parks Month down here, National Parks Celebration. It's centennial this entire month. 407 national parks across this U.S., and you guys have maps for pretty much all of them, huh?
Yes, that's right. As a matter of fact, we have altogether approximately 500,000 maps.
Oh, my gosh.
Cities, parks, recreation areas, forests, all over the world.
500,000. You probably got a map of my house somewhere around there. My gosh.
Well, probably your neighborhood anyway.
Yeah, good point. So, and where did all this start? What got you into the mapping business?
Well, for the last 20 years, we've been producing software for map makers.
Mm-hmm.
So for the creation of maps, the cartography aspect. And over the years, we've developed customers that range from your local newspaper all the way up to the U.S. Department of Defense and the various intelligence agencies, all the three-letter ones, and National Geographic and places like that. So over the years, we have been, arguably one of the top producers of software that's used to produce maps. And as an extension of that, we realized that as the consumer marketplace is changing, and we've seen it change in music, we've seen it change in books, and we thought that maps was the next logical commodity to be consumed and distributed through a digital, mobile type of enterprise system.
And tying this back to National Park Month, a map, a pretty doggone handy thing to have if you're driving through or hiking through a national park for the first time. What's the most downloaded map of one of our national parks down here so far?
Okay, well, of all the national parks maps that we have, the ones produced by the National Park Service, the top downloads really are the system map, which is the one that covers the country and shows all the parks, and beneath that, the trail systems, all the hiking trails in the country. But specifically, individual maps, the number one is Yosemite.
Oh, okay.
Followed by Yellowstone,
Gotta be in there,
and then the Grand Canyon. So those are the top three. They've all been downloaded thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And I think two of the things that the people like primarily about them is number one, they're not on paper. They're on their phone or their iPad or tablet device, which means no paper, nothing to blow away, nothing to lose, nothing to get lost, to get wet, and it knows where you are. Paper map doesn't know where you are, and when you're in the middle of the forest or the Grand Canyon, everything looks the same around you. There's two landmarks, but the digital map knows your position.
And it works with your phone. That's so nice.
And the other thing about it is it works offline.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about, losing bandwidth and all of a sudden your Google Map stops working or your Apple Map stops working. These maps are on your phone. They're there forever or until you delete them. Mm-hmm. They don't require internet connection to work. And they're better quality, generally speaking. If you take a look at the kind of content that you would get for a national park like the Grand Canyon or something like that, and look what Google Maps or Apple Maps offers you in the terms of the roads and the trails and the campsites and the ranger stations and the picnic areas, there's very, very, very little information. So when you visit one of these places, whatever is your favorite park or wherever you happen to be going on vacation, you want the map that's going to show you all that granular detail so that you can be informed and safe and make the best out of your adventure.
Feel very comfortable walking around if you have all that detail in front of you. And I truly, technology is great as long as it's working. And one of the things I like about what I'm reading here is that, like you said, even if you can't get on the internet, as long as your phone is working, then this map system knows where you are. It's integrated with your phone's GPS, and that's tremendous. Something else I liked about it, and boy, correct me quickly if I'm wrong, but it says here, download the free Avenza Maps app. It's not even going to cost us to get it?
That's right. The app itself is free.
Okay.
For the average user, for the consumer, the personal user, the hiker, the vacationer.
Okay.
The maps themselves are ranging from free to, and most of them are free.
That's the one of my house. Yeah.
Yeah, the national park maps are free. The U.S. Geological Survey maps are free.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Most of the maps of the chambers of commerce and the maps that that governments would put out are free. Mm-hmm. Most of the NOAA charts, if you like to boat, most of the NOAA charts are free.
Golly, where are you making money here, Ted?
Well, I'll tell you, the money's made in two ways.
Okay.
One is on the commercial use.
Mm-hmm.
So when we do have millions of users in firefighting, in emergency response, in transportation management, oil and gas. Mm-hmm. I understand that down there in Houston, oil and gas is a big business.
Yes, it is.
And those kind of things. So imagine you're on an oil rig or you're doing some kind of exploration work in the Gulf of Mexico. There's no bandwidth. There's no internet.
Good
Everything
point.
looks the same. It's just water everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be very handy to have a map that works offline. So we do license it to these type of organizations for their business use.
Good.
And the other revenue stream is on the maps that are for sale. So very similar to the way iTunes conducts its business with music, we enable publishers like the National Geographics of the world to offer their maps for sale direct to consumers so the consumer can browse our in-app catalog or store, if you will, of 500,000 maps, find the one they want for their next activity or adventure or trip. If they see one for free,
great.
Go ahead, get it. If you see the National Geographic map of the that you want to buy, it might be $5. You can just touch a button on your phone and it downloads to your phone. It bills your iTunes or Google account, and away you go.
And it doesn't get lost in the car and thrown away either when you get home. Pretty good deal there.
And one of the other things that people these days generally like, and most of the publishers like, is that it's green. I mean, we're eliminating paper. So the garbage collection, if you can imagine what it's like on a Saturday evening at a national park with all those paper maps being thrown away.
Yeah.
All that garbage collection, and then they do the whole thing again the next day. So it's even if we can eliminate 10% of the paper maps, we're saving money, we're saving the planet, and we're empowering people to make better use of geographic information.
Well, I noticed on here too something that's important to me anyway. If I were out hiking a brand new place, I'm one who tends to want to get off the beaten path and off the marked trail. And it allows you to use drop pins to kind of mark where you are and where you're going and where you've been, and so you can find your way back too, which is really nice. And that's a hard thing to do on a paper map when you don't even know where you are to begin with. You put a point anywhere on that map, and that's where you kind of might be, unless you're really, really good and you've got a super high-quality map. But again, that's still it requires you to stop, unfold the map completely, rather than just look at it right on your phone. You punch in a couple of points. You know where. I really like this, Ted. I do, man. I appreciate your time this morning. This is good. So what's the website again? It's
www.avenzamaps.com. That's AVENZA.com.
Avenza's good. Avenza's good stuff. I really do. I'm going to go ahead and unload this thing or download it to mine too. AvenzaMaps.com. Hey, Ted, Florence, thank you very much for your time this morning, sir.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
Oh, my pleasure. You too.
Take
Bye
care.
now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good heavens, look at the time. 8:32. Yeah, I didn't ask him. Maybe we should have asked if he had some maps to some secret fishing spots for you. Pay $5 for that, huh? There's a couple of guys back in the day whose maps I would have paid handsomely to have. You stop and think about where you'd like to go and how complicated it might be to navigate your way through. Even Brazos Bend National Park, or Brazos Bend State Park, I bet is on there. All of our national parks on there. You have that map with you. Think of this. If you are a bow hunter who hunts public forest, how handy that would be to have. You get in some parts of East Texas, you've got no internet connection, but you might still have a little bit of phone signal. And as long as your phone can find you, that map system can find you. And you punch a little waypoint where your stand is, back deep in that national forest where you want to bow hunt, and you can get back to it. There's a good chance you might be alone when you get there. Wouldn't that be nice as well?